across some articles that I know that you and I have talked about a couple of different times, and we talked about the health spending in general, what's really going on, and we've grabbed this from the Healthcare Financial News, and this is an organization that's online, and they've put out this chart here, and I know that we are always looking for ways to talk about different parts of how the money's flowing. Now, this part of this article mentioned, even though it was back in January, it mentioned that back in November of 2015 that it was at $614 billion in revenue completely all over the health spending.
That
circle.
is a lot. That's a big portion of the entire economy, Eric. It's about 20%. And if you look at that chart closely there, folks, you'll see that your section there that you would actually be involved in as the physicians and the clinical billing that you see down there in the bottom right-hand corner, about 20% of that amount of money. But, folks, with this size of a pie, you don't need but just a tiny slice of this to make a pretty good income.
Right. And as we move forward here, there's another article that came out, and then this one's talking about revenue cycle outsourcing to surge in the next 5 years. Now, this report is basically stating some very similar things here, but when we're talking about the revenue management, we're talking about medical billing and what we do. So, you've said this before, Patrick. It's like we've written this ourselves, but this is actually written from Healthcare Finance News.
Yeah, look at this quote. This market, it says, revenue cycle management outsourcing will grow by 15% over the next 5 years. Now, Eric, I don't know of many industries that are on that kind of growth pattern. A lot of them are going downhill, in fact, and getting smaller. This market is actually growing because you have the baby boomers, of course, who are retiring at the rate of about 10,000 people per day. And then, of course, you have the Affordable Care Act, which has turned out to be not too affordable for some people, but there's still a bunch of people who got involved in that. That means they're now able to go to the doctor. So the doctors are kind of overwhelmed by the number of people that are out there seeing them.
Right, yeah. And so, Patrick, I think what we like to do today as we kind of talk about this, we try to narrow it down to at least 3 different areas why people fail in this business. Some of them try to get started. Matter of fact, I was talking to a gentleman today, and everybody that's on the call, if you'd like to, you can always talk to any of our references. But inevitably, everybody wants to kind of talk with Patrick. I hear all your success stories, but what about your people who struggled and failed and everything else?
Yeah.
And I told this gentleman today, I said, the one thing you're going to hear from our references is this. They're going to tell you where they did fail. And I know that even our own, the lady that does our training, Cynthia, she struggled in the very beginning, and she did have some background in all this.
Yeah, so folks, again, I don't know how to be more upfront with people, but to tell them that this business is not for everybody, and so you need to pay real close attention as to why people do fail. But then we've built this whole webinar today based on all businesses in general, not just specifically ours, but there's a lot of businesses you could go into if you've been doing research on the internet, all kinds of franchises and business opportunities. And all of them have some sort of failure rate, and they all fail for the reasons we're going to talk about here that you see. But Eric, before you go on with those 3 points, can you go back to that previous slide? I want to point out one last thing on the bottom of that slide. That quote that you see there from Health Finance, efinance.com, says that the doctors are lacking platforms to handle the changes in billing and reimbursement and collections. That means themselves internally. And healthcare service providers will continue to outsource to third-party vendors to avoid the gaps and the inefficiencies leading to the loss of revenue. So, folks, that's where you come in. You're that third-party vendor that we train and certify to go in and help that doctor. And once you've been trained to do that, you'll see there's no selling to be done. You literally go in and ask questions of the doctor and their staff, and by asking a few questions, you find out whether or not they have a need, and the fact is that most of them do.
Absolutely. I mean, you're going to find out after you start talking and you start to get your lingo down. I know that some of the things, Patrick, we always kind of talk about is making sure you know how to talk the talk, especially whenever you start to get in the medical billing part of it. But once you start to get that down, the discovery of seeing doctors that are really hurting. Because Patrick, I mean, if we sort of open up the questions, we know one of the first questions that's going to be asked is, why would a doctor use me whenever I've never been in medical billing before, and I don't have anything but what ABS has given me? Really, what is the significant difference here of why a doctor would use me?
Well, one of the things we teach you to do is to use tools that we've developed, like our latest book here. I think I've got a copy right here. This is the book that I wrote with Dr. Vicki Rackner, The New Thriving Medical Practice. You can find this, as Eric said earlier, on Amazon, and we'll send you a copy of this. If you want a copy of this book, folks, electronic copy, an e-copy, we'll be glad to send that to you. Just get back with your ABS coach, the person who sent you the email for this webinar. But the point is that we teach you to use tools like this to educate the doctor. Once they're educated, now they realize, I shouldn't be doing this myself. I shouldn't mess with all the billing and teach my staff to do it and keep up with all the changes and the rules and the regulations and the software. I should be outsourcing this just like they do a lot of things. They outsource their bookkeeping, their internal legal matters. There's lots of things doctors outsource. Now we're going to teach them that they should be outsourcing their billing if they don't already. And of course, a lot of them have already made that decision.
Absolutely. And Patrick, what you just showed with the book and with the other marketing techniques that we have, the first thing that we see people when they start to struggle with their business is that they leave out of training and they try to do something completely different than what they learned in training. They try to, what we say, reinvent the wheel. You know, that's why we've kind of got this bicycle looking with square tires. It's just not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people who've been in business, and there are people, of course, who come through our training that had been in some other business and maybe it failed and they wanted to start a different one, or they want to add on to what they're doing. They basically take their own ideas of what works in marketing, for example, because that's the biggest question most people have: how do I get a client?
Right.
And if these people go out and try it on their own, what they've been doing to market to doctors, it just doesn't work. They have to know what we've learned over the past 23 years as a company, exactly how to market to a doctor to get past the gatekeeper, or to, in some cases, work with that gatekeeper, and to use the other ancillary services that we've developed as a company to be able to get past that doctor, because maybe they're not interested in changing their billing situation right now, but maybe they're having a problem with their coding, or maybe they have a problem with collecting from their patients. We have all kinds of solutions for doctors that will help you open the door and get in there to be able to ask them those questions that I mentioned earlier that will basically help them realize they need you.
All right, so folks, here we go. We're going to start off, and these are the things that we're going to talk about today. So we're going to try to share with you, these are some of the things that we want you to be careful of, not trying to go reinvent the wheel here. Marketing, support, contracts, training, demos, tools, proposals, and coaching. You're going to find out we have the system, a complete system that's going to help you launch your business. Now, Patrick, if you could just take a moment here, express again, because I don't think you can overexpress this, the importance of the number of years that you've been in business, that ABS has been in business, and the fact that sometimes again people leave training and then they try to redo everything that they try to do based upon what they've learned again. I know you've mentioned that, but I think it's just want you to reiterate that again.
Well, that probably is the biggest cause of failure in our business, at least, Eric, is that people are trying to apply what they think of as sales to this process of dealing with doctors. And believe me, doctors don't want to be sold anything. Now, they do like to implement things that help them bring in more revenue, but that's different from, it's like I tell people, if you could sell popsicles in the Sahara Desert, then you can sell a doctor on utilizing your services, because we've spent over $100,000, for example, developing the professional marketing flyers, postcards, tools that will help you to reach the doctor, that if you try to do it on your own, folks, not only would you probably spend more money than the $26,000 fee that we charge for our opportunity package, but you would probably develop things that didn't look as professional. and they look like they came off of your inkjet printer, which they probably would. We have slick, professional, glossy marketing tools that helps the doctor see you as being much larger than someone just working out of their spare bedroom.
Right.
You wouldn't have this type of materials if that were the case. So you're a part of our network that has developed these things over the past 23 years, and that makes all the difference in the world about how you come across to that doctor.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And then with the new marketing material that we are producing, like the book that Patrick just showed you, and I think, Robin, you're asking when was this article published. I'm thinking you may be asking when this book was published. Patrick, you just published this book at the end of last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's got a copyright of 2016. Now, we're updating this book, Eric, because the subtitle on this says How to Get Off the Hamster Wheel, Work Smarter, not harder, generate more revenue, and enjoy greater career satisfaction in the era of the Affordable Care Act. Now, that's important that you know that we update our materials as we need to. And folks, the Affordable Care Act is on its way to being repaired, repealed, replaced. I don't know what they're calling it now. But the point is we've changed the title, the subtitle of the book. Now it says you can have career satisfaction in the post-Obamacare era.
Right.
Folks, we want to be as relevant as we can to these doctors, and so that's why we keep these materials updated for you. You couldn't do that on your own. It costs more than $26,000 just to produce and write and publish this book. So that's one of the tools that we give you. And Eric, I don't know if this one has it, I don't know it doesn't, but we've got a new version of the book now for our licensees that they can have their name right on the cover as having written the foreword to the book. So that's one of the ways we give you credibility that you just would not have otherwise.
And I know that there's other books that can be purchased that is not ABS, but it's actually written by the same author, the doctor there. I think I've got that book right up over there, the Myth of the Rich Doctor.
Back there. Yeah, I may have that here on my shelf.
So we've got material here that, I mean, you as licensees can get a hold of pretty quickly. But it also starts here again, I mean, with our licensee support site. And here we've got even Dr. Vicki Rackner that posts information on here, on our website here. Patrick, why don't you kind of talk real quickly about our relationship that we do have with Dr. Vicki Rackner, and you know, how you, maybe just a little bit of background about all that.
Yeah, you know, for many years, of course, we developed our own materials, and we had developed ways to market to doctors on our own as a company through our licensees. We constantly have feedback from people who are out there doing this on a day-to-day basis. Our instructor, for example, she is one of our licensees, has been with us for 8 years, and she develops new ways to market as well. But I was looking around on the internet one day, typing something in like how to market to doctors, and I ran across Dr. Vicki Rackner. She's a retired general surgeon after having seen thousands of patients and being a part of the Washington School of Medicine teaching staff. She decided she wanted to help other people who wanted to connect with doctors, because she knew, being a doctor herself, that doctors are not very good business people. So she works with people like financial planners and CPAs. And now our licensees, specifically, she is working with our licensees to help know how to market to doctors and get inside their head. So it's a wonderful relationship that we have with her. But Eric, going back to reinventing the wheel, a lot of people, of course, try to start a business like this on their own. Not that it can't be done. My wife started doing medical billing back in the late 80s. But as far as support, you wouldn't have that. Sometimes it's hard on your own, working out of your home, for example, to have all the tools that we have available. For example, on that website that we just had up, that is available only to our licensees. It has hundreds of hours of training, webinars, and documents and other things that are available, as you can see from looking at the tabs at the top there. And then, as Eric was showing there, we have all the documents that you need, all the agreements and so forth that already are worked out. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with attorneys making sure that we have the right agreements in place, so that when you do engage with a doctor, you have yourself covered and you have everything in writing the way it should be. So these are things, guys, again, that you would spend a lot of money on your own developing.
And plus the training. I know that, Patrick, we all know that there are some other organizations out there that may sell something very similar to what we have, but nothing where there's a live training course. And Patrick, you've been doing this from day one, I know, with a live training course. And I remember whenever I first started here 9 years ago, I think it was just a 3-day course, and now it's all week. I mean, we just kept adding more information, and we continue to keep adding more information. Pull some of the things out that are not working, as you said, but the dynamics that happen in these training classes are huge of getting a business launched in the proper direction, especially medical billing.
Yeah, I say to people that there's nothing like being there with other people who are starting their business at the same level you are, from ground zero. In fact, most people who come through our training, Eric, as you know, don't have any background in the healthcare field at all, especially in the billing area. And so to be able to interact with those people throughout the entire week, have lunch with them, maybe go out in the evening for dinner, and really network, build your support group there at the training. There's nothing like this. Plus, you're there with a live trainer who is a licensee running her own business and can ask her all the questions you want about how she became as successful as she is. So there's just no replacing that. Plus, you have hands-on experience with the software because we bring in laptops and turn them on the first day, and you're doing medical billing right there in that classroom. Part of that is involved in the live demos that we teach people that we do for them. So, Eric, you want to tell them a little bit more about that? I know that you're involved in the demos.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I mean, this is where I think everything works right here, folks. What is so good about the demos that we do for you? We at this point we've partnered with you. We are working with you, with your doctors. We're here answering all your questions. So imagine that you just left training and your head's swimming because you got all of this information in here, and you finally get a hold of a doctor, and now you're excited about, now this doctor wants to at least talk with me. And what do we do next? Well, you're going to get to the part where you're going to learn how to do a live demo. We're involved with that. So imagine that you're there at the doctor's office. We're here at our office. Doesn't matter where we're located, where you're located. It just doesn't matter. We will hold your hand and the doctor's hand through the software demonstration. And Patrick, the latest thing that I saw really with how well this is doing, we've kind of calculated out that about 75% of all of the demos, whenever it gets to this position, that we're helping those licensees close. 75% of the demos that we're doing for them.
Eric, this one thing that we do, these live demos for our licensees, for their prospective clients, that alone is worth $26,000
right.
plus. Because, folks, to have us be on there and show the doctor exactly what the advantages are of outsourcing their billing to you, and be able to answer all their questions while you're just listening in, like the guy on the right there, that's the licensee. He's on this along with the doctor's staff, watching this demo, learning, listening, hearing the questions that are asked, hearing the answers that we give. At the end of these demos, Eric has heard doctors say, look, okay, it sounds good. What do I do next? How do I get started? That's about all there is to it.
Yep, I've literally heard that several times. So that's just part of not reinventing the wheel. We don't want you to go do the demo. I mean, obviously it kind of limits your credibility, wouldn't you say, Patrick? I mean, whenever you've got, if we were teaching our licensees to do their own demos, I think you just lose somewhat of an edge out there.
Well, they couldn't do it as well as our staff does, of course, and they would come across as being, again, a one-horse operation. In other words, being able to say that you have technical people who can set up a demo for the doctor and do it for you makes you look much larger than someone just working out of their spare bedroom again.
And folks, there's nothing wrong with working out of your spare bedroom. That's what this whole thing is about, is that you do have that opportunity. Again, we have all the professional tools. We've already shown some of this with the training workshop and all the other pieces here. But I think this is pretty cool, Patrick, because there are some people that really like to get out there and talk with other people. And we've got this demonstrated here. This is an actual trade show booth that's really, I don't know, 10 by 10. I guess that's what that is, and yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, and then we have a tabletop one for smaller events. We'll show you how to find these events all over your city, folks. There's things being held probably this week in your city that you could have had a booth at that event with this display that we let you just borrow from us basically for the shipping costs back and forth. And basically, you're just standing there talking to people as they walk up to you. Now, Eric, you and I actually tested this out. Remember a few years back, right here in the Dallas area, there was some sort of women's expo, wasn't it? Isn't that the type of thing? Yeah.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, and we had 5 doctors stop by the booth and ask if they could, engage with somebody because we had a big sign up that said medical billing. Now, we were actually doing that to look for licensees at that event. But there were doctors there. They're human beings. They come to those kinds of things just looking for products and services. And they stopped by and said they were interested in somebody doing their billing. So that shows you the need for it that's out there. So, folks, it doesn't have to be a medical event at all. It can be a garden show, a home show, a boat show, automobile show, because doctors, again, go to those things and will engage with you at those. And we'll show you what to say, what to give out, and how to set up appointments to go in and show the doctor what you can do for them.
And everything that we've shown up to this point, whether it's the trade show booth, whether it's all the marketing materials, whether it's the proposals that we're showing you right here, any of this, folks, you don't have to redo anything. Patrick, you've just basically said sometimes that what we have to offer is just a business in a box. It's ready to go. We're going to help support you. We're going to train you. We're going to be there for the lifetime as long as you're a licensee, but we're giving you everything that you need to get this thing kicked off.
Yeah, I just got another book that I just showed you, Eric. Here, let me get this. Sorry, excuse me.
Sure.
This is by a fellow named Tim Ferriss. This is his latest book, Tools of Titans. But in one of his previous books, he says, all you need to be successful in business is a system. And so that's why we named our company American Business Systems, because, folks, we do have a system. And if you follow the system, you will be successful. You don't have to reinvent anything. The proposals, for example, are templated documents that you can pull up. We'll show you how to edit those and change it just to fit your particular situation. And we'll even review those proposals for you and give you some tips on whether or not you're pricing it correctly and that type of thing. So that's part of the lifetime support that you get from ABS. So you don't have to, again, come up with all that stuff on your own.
And then I know even past everything that we've shown you so far, we actually have people that can help coach our licensees. There are some times where there's some licensees that, let's say that, this has been recent, where we've got some licensees that need help with a specific specialty. So if it's a specific specialty, then we can get another licensee that is already in that field to work with that particular licensee.
That's the great thing about being a part of our network, folks, because you are a part of the nation's largest network of independent medical billing companies. Each one of our licensees has started their own company. You name your own company. We'll show you how to do all that to get it set up. And so you're in business for yourself. Each one of these people, though, also feel like that they can be a part of a network helping others to succeed. And so we have people like Terrence Patterson that you see there, who has a huge background in marketing, Sally Combest, who is our single medical advisor, and then Jeanette Weiler, who is a certified professional coder. These are the types of people we have on our board, our advisory board, that can help you in this business. Again, all a part of just being a part of ABS.
And everything that we're showing you so far, including all the support, is for a lifetime. This is nothing that you have to go back and, after 2 years, come back and say, Patrick, can I get some more support from you, or can I get help with this? I mean, you made that change a couple of years ago, saying, look, we're here to help. We're here to support our licensees. This is what we're going to do.
Well, and here's why. Let me explain to people why we can do that. Lifetime support means forever. You never pay us another dime. And the reason we can do that, folks, is because we've built our business on a model that allows us to profit as you profit. When you sign up a new client and you start processing the claims for that doctor, we are participating in that revenue stream. And so we have a vested interest in your success and want you to be as successful as you possibly can. That's why all of our support people are anxious to help you, because they all participate in that as well.
Absolutely.
It's a win-win-win-win-win situation.
It all the way around. It most certainly is. All right, so number two. I mean, we're already past the bottom of the hour so far, Patrick, and but what we want to look at is now product differentiation. I mean, this is what makes you stand out, or what some people like to call it. What is your value add? What are you adding to your value of all of this? And so I think that's what we're going to take apart right now is because if you don't have something different in the marketplace, you're already headed for failure. I mean, Patrick, can you imagine that if we were just giving our licensees just another piece of software that didn't have anything different to it, that we're just trying to copy what someone else is already doing?
And we know that that is the case, Eric, that there are people who come through our training who've owned their own medical billing company for years.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't have anything that differentiated them from the competition in their area, and so they didn't grow. They come to us and learn that you can be very, very specialized in the marketplace and separate yourself from everybody else that's out there. One of the ways we do that, of course, is we separate ourselves from other companies who are in this field by not having server-based software. That software, like you see right here illustrated, it comes on a CD and a DVD, and it installs on your computer. Folks, with us, you don't have anything to install. You literally have a website that you go to, and with the credentials that we give you, password and ID and so forth, you're into our system live in what's called the cloud. The cloud separates yourself from every other company that's out there. Believe me, most billing companies are using server-based software, and there's all sorts of drawbacks to that, including having that patient data reside on your computer in your office. Very dangerous. You could have that computer stolen, it could crash, and you could lose it. With the cloud, the data is always out there. We have it on redundant servers in different parts of the United States and different electrical grids. We back it up on a nightly basis, off-site. It's called cloud-based software, and we're illustrating it there with that little picture.
Yeah, and so folks, if you haven't had an opportunity to see a demonstration of the software, I know that there's some people that are on here today that I think Robin and you and I just did one yesterday. Just take some time to sit with your ABS coach that you're working with to try to figure out if this is what you want to do. Get with them and see a live demonstration. If you can just really look inside what's in here so far, if you'll see these names like John Smith and Greg Kleiser, or whatever his name is, Steve Smith down there, you'll see these little green dots beside there. And folks, just a little hint of what's going on here. The system is in real time. Real time, it's checking that patient's insurance in real time to verify that that person has insurance. There's no other system in the U.S. that does that, and it's because we have a key component in here, which we're going to share with you here in just a moment, that's called a clearinghouse, and that's literally inside of our system. That's what separates us from all other billing platforms.
Sorry, I was just looking through the questions here and saw this comment from Rhonda. She says, "Hi, Patrick, I'm coming in March." So that's great, Rhonda. Glad that you're still looking at the webinars here. Let's see, and also we've got here's one lady from no, I believe this is Abimbola. Abimbola says, "Does the fee we pay include the airfare and hotel?" No, it does not. The licensing fee is just for the information, the training that we give to you there when you come down to Dallas, and you know that hotel and airfare, of course, is yours.
So what we wanted to show you here is that, if Patrick, if you want to keep looking for some questions, I'll kind of fill in the gaps here.
Sure.
Is that as you're thinking about your market and not wanting to fail out there, you want to separate yourself from others. And Patrick, I think after talking about this, another question that does pop up in people's minds is, how do we compare ourselves with the competition? And the way that I like to explain it is this: we kind of leave the competition behind because the competition does not have all four of these components in one complete system.
Yeah, and these are not different software programs, folks. This is all an integrated system that we have that includes the iClaim practice management system. That is the software that you use to do the billing. We have the electronic medical records system called EMRX that's built into this as well, that the doctor uses when they're encountering the patients. We have the clearinghouse built in. We're the only company that I know of, Eric, that has a built-in clearinghouse that does the claim scrubbing and submits it to the insurance companies. That's all built into our system as well. That's one of the reasons why our rejection rate is less than 2% now. And the patient portal, which allows the patients to go online in real time from their iPad or their phone and log in and see all the history of their visits with their doctors. It's just a marvelous integrated system. I've never seen anything like it, Eric. I don't think there is anything else out there.
There really isn't anything else out there in the marketplace that we've been able to find, and that's what makes us unique, and that's what keeps us from having to feel like we're having to beat up the competition on what their softwares do. Folks, when you get to a platform like what we're showing you right now, iClaim is what's called a practice management system. Every doctor has something called a practice management system. It contains all of their patient demographics. They do their scheduling. They probably do some billing out of it, or at least the outsourced billing company uses that section of it. But again, the difference is that this is web-based. There's unlimited seats that you can use for people to log in. And then as we're going to get through here in just a second, you're going to see again the unique part about it is going to be the clearinghouse. But with all of this intricately woven together, when the doctors are using EMRX, whenever they get through seeing their patient, that claim goes right back over here to iClaim for you to do the billing. So there's nothing missed in the transition. And you get it immediately, which means that you get to process the claim the same day the doctor's seeing the patient. And because we process claims in real time, guess what happens, Patrick? That claim actually gets to the payer, the insurance company, the same day.
Yeah, unbelievable. Unheard of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, of course, our electronic medical record system, since it's all built in, ties all that together with the clearinghouse, which, of course, there's nothing like it out there. Now, folks, let's kind of explain, Eric, what a clearinghouse is. It's a third-party company, basically, that normally the claims that go through your computer system are uploaded to the clearinghouse, and they act as a direct portal to the insurance payers. They catch all the errors that might come through, and they prompt you to make the corrections before submitting to the payers. These clearinghouses, though, if they're third party, there's that one extra step, you see. With us, we have a unique difference in that our medical billing services simply have lower rejections and expedited reimbursements because the clearinghouse is built in and it happens in real time.
Patrick, I have to tell you this little story here. The times that I do get to do the demos for some of our licensees, even though that we tell the people, the doctor and their front office staff, their office manager, that iClaim is the clearinghouse, and we go through all of these demos and we show them this big unique difference here, it's so funny that they'll still ask, and what's the name of your clearinghouse? Are you using MDON? No, ma'am. We're using our clearinghouse, and it finally, somewhere through that demonstration, it dawns on them that they go, you really do have something unique here. I've had at least two doctors tell me, why isn't everybody doing this? Well, they can't because not all billing platforms or practice management systems, they can't afford to have their own clearinghouse.
Exactly. And having that built in does give us that huge advantage of getting those rejection rate. Now, folks, just so you know, most billing software systems have up to a 30% rejection rate. Mm-hmm. When we bring it down to less than 2%, that means more money in the doctor's pocket and more money in your pocket because you get a percentage of everything that's actually collected for the doctor.
Yeah, that's right. And then there's this one other unique feature that we haven't talked a lot about in recent webinars, and that's the patient portal. And folks, if you don't know really what's happening, the doctors are being mandated that the patients use a patient portal. Now,
right.
Ours is unique in that, as you can see, you can view your current charges. They can actually pay their bills online. They can actually pay their balances online. So that kind of helps you, as that medical revenue manager, show the doctors how they can keep that money, cash flow coming in. They can literally schedule an appointment. I mean, literally schedule the appointment online and fill out everything that they need online and never have to fill out anything at the office. Literally nothing. They can even check in. Once they check in, they can just check in and go to the doctor's office, review, request medication refills, review medical records, even have a conversation with the doctor. And one more thing, they can have telemedicine. Patrick, you want to tell them what that is all about? An e-visit?
Well, it's just like you're seeing right here on your screen. If you're watching me and Eric live here on this webinar with the two webcams on, you literally, as a patient, can go into our system and make an appointment with your doctor to have a virtual visit, just like we're doing right here. So, Eric, you're the doctor, I'm the patient, I'm complaining to you, you're telling me what to do, and then Eric can push a button and electronically prescribe whatever medication he suggests for me, and before I can turn the computer off and get to the drugstore, it's there. The prescription's already processed. Folks, this is the leading edge in technology.
And the surprising part about this is, all of you people that are entrepreneurs, there is a company out there that is selling telemedicine separately. That's all.
That's a business opportunity. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's $30,000 that investment. We've got that built in. It's a part of our system. We're way ahead of most people on all this stuff, Eric, which I love.
So we're going to kind of just demonstrate how this all workflows for you. So again, now this is actually going to be in your handout. So don't forget to download that handout here in just a little bit. But you can see here it all starts with the patient. They can fill out and do all of their stuff on their iPad at home. It goes directly into the doctor's electronic medical record system, which means it's already going to be there while you're going to see the doctor, because it'll let you put in, I'm coming to see the doctor because I got a sore throat and it hurts here and it's been hurting this long. All of those notes there will already be in the EMR system for the doctor, ready for you when you get there. Once the doctor gets through seeing you, it goes over to the iClaim platform for you as the medical billing company to process that claim. And after that, then it goes to these insurance companies for payment. This literally can be in a one-day turnaround. Patient, doctor, billing, insurance, all in one day.
Yeah, you've never seen anything like it. You can't even wrap your brain around this until you actually see it. So again, folks, you need to get back with the person who sent you the email inviting you to this webinar. We call them your ABS business coach. And that person can share with you a live demo of the system so you can see it for yourself. You will be wowed just like the doctors are.
Exactly. Last thing, Patrick, we got about 13 minutes here to go. Number 3, why people fail. You don't know what you don't know. You want to explain what we're talking about there, Patrick?
I have not a clue.
Okay. So we don't know what we don't know.
I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know exactly what this means. Tell us.
It means that for people who are thinking about, you know what, I think I'll try to go out there and try to go pre-market. I know that some people like to try to go pre-market a little bit.
Yeah.
And if you try to go out there a little bit ahead without knowing some of the things that we've already taught you, now we've already given you a lot of information already. You could literally, with the information we gave you today, you could probably do a little bit, but we've recommended by seeing this that, you know what, you could end up burning your leads way ahead of time before you're even knowing everything that's what you got to know about the doctor.
Yeah, that is probably one of the biggest reasons people fail, is because they have already gone out and you call it burned. It means you have messed up.
Yes.
You talked to a doctor about this before you knew what you were talking about, and you didn't come across as credible at all. So you've probably lost that doctor as a prospective client if you do, come through our training. So just wait. We're going to tell you everything you need to know in that week-long training, and you'll be ready and prepared to go out and answer the questions that the doctor is going to ask.
Patrick, we've been talking about revenue cycle management this whole thing. Why don't you kind of take them through this, and let's describe what revenue cycle management even is.
Well, that term is used to encompass everything that you see there in those 4 pieces of the puzzle. The claims preparation, we're going to teach you exactly what you need to do and how to get the information from the doctor. for the patient registration. That's the demographic information about the patient. And then, of course, the patient eligibility, how to check that in our system in real time with the insurance company, because there's no need for the doctor to see the patient under insurance if the patient is not covered for that. Then the claims submission. We're going to show you on the back end how to use our system, of course, to do what we call charge entry. We're going to teach you about the rules engine that makes sure that you're not making mistakes and sending in data that you shouldn't. And, of course, the transmission of the claims and how that works in real time and how fast the doctor can get paid because of our online cloud-based system. The claims management includes, of course, the payment posting once the patient or the insurance company pays the doctor. And then, of course, you also have the all the management, the denial management. If a claim comes back and is denied, well, how do you deal with that? What do you do with it? And then the AR follow-up. This includes the patient payments, how to follow up on all that. You're not a collection agency. We have systems in place, automated systems that collects that money for the doctor. And, of course, the reporting, of course, back to the doctor. Folks, when you see the reporting that our system has for the doctor, you'll see why they get sold on it when they see that demo.
Yeah, no doubt. And folks, let me say this to kind of take away a little of the fear about Patrick said that down there at the claims management about patient collections. Again, you're not going and knocking on someone's door and asking the little old lady to pay her $20. Remember, every dime that you help that doctor collect, you're making a percentage off of that money. So you do want to know if the patients are paying the doctor, because it could be through their deductibles, it could be through their co-pays, it could just be for something that was left over that needs to be paid by the doctor. So any money that flows through that doctor's office, you are managing that revenue. That's why you're going to be a certified revenue manager at the end of our course, because we're going to teach you all these things and make sure you capture every penny for that doctor.
I see a question here. I wished I could pronounce this person's first name. I'm sorry, but I'll just say it's S. Jones that's asked the question. And they say, okay, it still sounds good, but if a biller charges a provider a percentage of the claim amount processed per claim, what percentage of that will go to ABS? Great question. And the answer is 0. ABS gets none of that. You keep every dime of the money that you're charging that doctor for that claim. Somebody's asking about how much is the fee. Shada saying how much is the fee. I think she's talking about our fee that we charge for this business opportunity package and training and support. That's a $26,000 fee.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then she says, is this session live? Eric, what time is it right now?
It's 4:52, so we're live right now. So she was probably wondering if it's live or she's just typing in questions and not knowing if anybody's answering. So yes, it is.
I guess so. Yeah. All right. Well, that's why I tried to get caught up there on some of those.
Yeah, I know there's some more there. But again, going in and maybe trying to pre-market or do a little bit of research. Again, we're not telling you not to do that, but we just want to make sure if you do know some of this, just go out there gently out there, because you're not going to know everything out there. We're going to be here to help you hold your hand. Remember, once you become a licensee, even if you can't make it to training immediately, if there's some things that we can do, we'll certainly help you with that. Some things is going to be the medical terminology. Even if you know what questions to ask, you may not have them in the order that we have them and a report to put them in. Patrick, this is what's called the practice analysis questionnaire. Talk about the significance of this and then this report that we're talking about here.
Well, when we mentioned earlier about getting clients, this is one of the things that we've developed over the last 23 years. Actually, we're just showing the first page. There's 3 pages of questions there that you can go in and ask the doctor or the office manager that gives you the information you need to come back to your office and produce the report that you see on the right side there. We call it the practice revenue report. And as you can see, by plugging in the numbers that they give you, you can generate a report that shows the doctor, bottom line, what kind of revenue increase they might expect if you took over their billing. In this case, Eric, I think this is a real example, is why we've blanked out the information at the top there, but this is a doctor's practice where we were going to increase their revenue by 17%, that is $26,000 a month for this particular practice, or $321,765 per year.
Yes.
Those are the kinds of numbers that gets their attention, folks. So is there any selling to be done? No. Once the doctor sees that bottom line, they're going to go, why would I not give it a try? Because we're comparing this with what he's paying now, his own staff, and keeping up his own software updates, et cetera, et cetera. So, folks, when you compare the two, there is no comparison. We can save the doctor money, no doubt about it, in most cases.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. Because we're looking at numbers to numbers, dollars to dollars, and that's what we're looking at in revenue, the practice analysis questionnaire, and then the revenue report. It is. Look at this. Here it is. Look at this. Here it is. It's all there, and it's one of the things that will certainly help you out with. Even if you knew all the questions.
Somebody's asking about the handout, how to get it. I don't know how to illustrate that to them, except they're probably missing the control panel for GoToWebinar. Now, that may be in one of the little icons at the bottom of your screen or a tab on your browser somewhere. But when you find that and open it up, you'll see that there's all kinds of sections to that. There's polls and webcam and, I don't know, chat and all kinds of things. And it's just under handouts. Look for the handouts section of that. And there's a file there that you just click on it, and it'll begin to download that. It's a PDF file. Yeah.
Right. And kind of wrapping up here, we were just going to say, even if you knew all the questions to ask, you just kind of knew what to ask, you still don't have what you can demonstrate here with the iClaim EMRX Clearinghouse Patient Portal platform. You just don't have it. So we want to make sure that you get off with the right foot. And so to have all that, and plus you don't get the support. I mean, we've already talked about the support, what the lifetime of the support is. We're here to help you. If we're not supporting you and helping you get a client, then we're failing on our part, because we want to help you here.
Yeah, the support, folks, is ongoing. It's lifetime. As long as you're an ABS licensee producing claims through our system, you have free support from us. And by the way, Eric, that includes live training webinars. We're doing these, of course, on Wednesday for people looking into our business. Once somebody is a licensee, we do those usually on Fridays, and we have one this Friday that's given by some of our licensees that are out there that are very successful, and our staff, of course. So that's ongoing as well. And again, folks, never a charge for that, none whatsoever.
So, folks, as we kind of wrap this thing up, there's certainly some questions that we want to try to wrap up here with you, and we're going to try to go through as many questions as we can here. But here are the three things again. Don't be a statistic. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Make sure you have product differentiation. And then don't go out there and try to do something that you just don't know what you're doing. So we supply everything. We've given you everything you need in step one. We give you this differentiation, and we give you everything you need out there to make sure that your business is up and going as best we can help you with. Now, Patrick, you mentioned earlier about a money-back guarantee. So once you talk about that, I'll start looking at some questions, and then we'll kind of wrap things up here.
You know, folks, we for many years didn't offer this, and when I first brought it up to my staff and board of directors, they said, you're crazy. You're nuts, Phillips. You can't do this. And I said, well, let's just try it and see, because I honestly believe that people can't really wrap their brain around what we have and how good it is until they come through our week-long training here in Dallas. So I decided to start offering this 100% money-back guarantee. It's right there, and you can see there's no weasel words in this. This is right out of the agreement that you'll sign. It says if at the end of the training workshop, for any reason, you don't think this business is right for you, that's pretty broad, right, Eric? It could be just not right for you because you don't like it. Or for no reason at all. It doesn't matter. Simply tell any staff member, and they'll arrange for you to receive a full refund of your license fee. So every penny is given back to you, folks. Now, how do we do that? And why is it that that has been good for us as our company and for people coming through training? Because it takes all the pressure off of you. You can tell your spouse or your partner, I'm going down there. I'm going to spend the money it takes to get to Dallas. I'm going to stay there at the hotel. Cost about $700 for the whole week, I think. There, you've invested very little money to find out if this is for real. And if it is, of course, you stay as a licensee, you go back and you start your company. If not, for any reason, you just get your money back. And I don't know how to be, there's no other company in the world that does that, Eric.
No.
I had my staff say, well, what if people come down and they get all this information and they go back and try to do it on their own? fine, we'll still give them their money back. That's up to them. But you'll see, folks, this has happened only a handful of times in our entire history as a company, so we know we've got something pretty good going here.